I see scripture of the day. Which other one's going on?
Shalom. Give us a second to double check the stream. Where are you coming? Did you check?
I'm waiting for it to hit.
All right.
Should be good.
Shalom, shalom. We are the brothers of the Great Millstone, the branch here in Chicago. And first and foremost, we want to give all praises, going honor
To
unto
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to the 144,000 that selected and scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen that look like the heathen, the Israelite formers. All right, to these brothers that are doing this work, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Right, you few Aqua that are actually listening. Yeah, so you see the title. It's the deception is no longer working. This is Luke 12 and 2, and it reads, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be made known." And I'm going to jump over to Luke 8 and 17, and it reads, "For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad." So you can't, all these plans and all this wickedness that Esau has been planning, that spirit of Psalm 68 and 4, somebody can grab it, or 64 and 8. There's, a lot of the information that we use to expose Esau, he has to be, that's part of prophecy, that he has to be exposed in the last day, that the man of wickedness will be revealed. Somebody can grab that. But the majority of the information that we use to do it outside of the Bible is coming from other Edomites. All right, it's coming from other Edomites. I mean, the internet, the social media is from Facebook to YouTube to Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. They're littered with people exposing deep, dark historical truths and secrets that have been covered up and hid about different events. Disgruntled employees that used to work for the government that are just releasing secrets. I mean, it's so much. It's hard to keep up with. But I want to read something. Now, right this out, I didn't delete it. Usually after I use stuff, I delete it. Let's see if I keep. I kept it. But there, Esau is with his white superiority, this false concept, the social construct of what they call white superiority. He's lied about everything. All right, in all his historical events, he's lied about. Matter of fact, I got a video that I'm put in, and I'm gonna send you, and like the 5-minute mark, the 17-minute mark at the end, just bits and pieces of it. But Edomite exposing truths about 9/11, and it's not looking good, which we knew it was all bullshit anyway. But nevertheless, Esau, claimed that they're the fathers of civilizations, and the Greek this and the Greek that. Look, the Greeks were not white people, first of all, and the Greeks then all the Greeks did was rob and steal everybody else's cultures and use what had already been done by the other nations. And I'm going to prove it with this information, this revelation right here. This is and this is coming out of Australia. It says in the education, it says 3,700-year-old Babylonian stone tablet gets translated, changes history. And Babylon is what, modern day Iraq? Yeah. All right. Yeah. So what just happened in Iraq these last couple years, these last 20 years? Nothing but wars and destruction, and the taking of all these, and we seen the images of Al Qaeda, which the guy talks about in the video, which is a fraud. All right. There's a damn CIA, COINTELPRO type group, destroying all these museums. And I found it strange when I watched those videos, when I saw these Arabs, going to these museums, destroying artifacts. And then it dawned on me, they're destroying these artifacts because they depict the people in the land. And the people in the land were actually, a Negroid type people. They were all dark. They were all dark flesh. A lot of them had woolly hair. A lot of them had thick lips. All right? And some of them were Hamites, some of them were Ishmaelites. But that was the look that but most people had in that part of the world prior to Alexander and the Edomites conquering it. All right. So that it would only make sense why they would go. Someone could probably find some of those videos too of Al Qaeda destroying those, museums and stuff. You see them destroying artifacts. But it says 3,700-year-old Babylonian stone tablet gets translated, changes history. They were doing trigonometry 1,500 years before the Greeks. All right. Dr. Daniel Mansfield, all right, that's a ish name, and his team at the Psalm 64:8, and his team at the University of New South Wales in Australia have just made an incredible discovery. All right, and it's not they've known this. All right, now the evidence and the relics are proving it. The Lord hid things in the earth that are coming forth is exposing these bastards. But it says, while studying a 3,700-year-old tablet from ancient civilization of Babylon, they found evidence that the Babylonians were doing something astounding: trigonometry. Most historians have credited the Greeks with creating the study of triangles, sides, and angles, but this tablet presents indisputable evidence that the Babylonians were using the technique 1,500 years before the Greeks ever were. All right?
And if you really want to go into it, Abraham taught the Egyptians before even Joseph went over there and taught the Egyptians. We had, if we're going to build the pyramids,
that triangle shape right now.
That information has been way before even Babylon.
So that makes it clear that the Israelites, way before Babylon, had knowledge of the use of triangles and angles and measurements.
And everywhere we've been, from ancient Egypt to over to Europe to the Americas, everywhere the footprint of a Negro, Latino, Native American, we had built pyramids. So that's bullshit.
It was a Jake that helped the foundation of the city Baghdad over there, right?
That's why Scripture talks about how he boasted. He said, "I robbed their treasures like a valiant man," because you had what was called the Alexandria Library, which is basically everything. Because all the people that
it was in Egypt.
in Egypt, and all the shit that they looted from all these other nations that they conquered, especially us, it all was stored there. So they were just stealing shit, man. And the Scripture said, "The thief cometh not, but to steal, kill, and destroy."
Come on, brother. And I always say that the museums are evidence of thievery. It's the evidence, and how the Scripture says, "Let it be, evidence against you." Roughly paraphrase.
Yeah.
Museums are evidence of that, of them rape, robbing, murdering, and taking other people's shit.
So I got this pulled up in the spirit that I was saying I was already grabbing it. It's and the works of Flavius Josephus,
I was thinking it.
Antiquities of the Jews, book 1, chapter 8. I'm gonna jump down to the point. It's in the second, paragraph. I'm gonna get to the point. I'm gonna start the top one too. For whereas the Egyptians were formerly addicted to different customs and despised one another's sacred and accustomed rites, and were very angry one another on that account, Abram conferred with each of them and confuted the reasons they made use of, everyone for their own practices, demonstrated that such reasonings were vain and void of truth, whereupon he was admired by them in those conferences as a very wise man, and one of great sagacity when he discoursed on any subject he undertook, and this not only in understanding it, but in persuading other men also to assent to him. So he not only did he have wisdom, he can convince the next man that this is right. He can actually teach you. All right. He communicated to them arithmetic and delivered to them the science of astronomy.
Perfect.
For before Abram came into Egypt, they were unacquainted with those parts of learning. For that science came from the Chaldeans into Egypt, and from thence to the Greeks also.
There you go.
Yeah, because wisdom comes from East. Now we know that King Solomon, of course, was the wisest man. I'm trying to find the precept. King Solomon was the wisest man, but as far as wisdom goes, it's known to come from the East. Today they say the Orientals are so wise they got this. It's a phrase. They all talking about Confucius and shit like that. Well, Oriental means East.
East.
You know, so not just talking about some Chinese, man, that's bullshit. Alright?
And for the record, from Russia, China, Japan, India, Nepal, Yemen, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Turkey, that's all Asia. That's all Asia, and that's all the East. As a matter of fact, Turkey, Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, that's Western Asia, not the Middle East.
I got you.
I got it.
Real quick, man. It's 1 Kings 4.
4:30.
Then, my brother, I ain't know you're gonna come, but it's very essential.
You want to read it, though?
This 1 Kings 4 and 29. And the Most High gave Solomon wisdom and understanding, exceeding much and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. So before the Babylonians, we already had King Solomon, man. All right, Esau, you piece of shit. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the East country and all the wisdom of Egypt. All right, so that it was known that wisdom was in the East and in Egypt. And where did Egypt get their wisdom from? Abraham, Joseph. All right, these men in the East, they had it because that's where knowledge started in the garden. Then we got spread out, in the East. And ultimately, like I said, the Chaldees, which is the line that Abraham comes from, man. That's where this wisdom is at, man. Then you get fast forward after Abraham to Deuteronomy 4th chapter, wisdom is in the scriptures. This is what wisdom is at, man. Talk about something. Esau like to take credit for everything. They tell you about these aqueducts and shit. All right, America came and fixed up the savages. Well, Mexico, they had some of the best aqueducts. They didn't get it from Rome either. Then they said America came and brought this shit. They didn't tell you where the aqueduct started bringing Rome.
If you go back
Which is a complete lie.
Well, they had hanging gardens.
As a matter of fact, the Iskarites, their kingdom extended all the way up into North America, all the way up into Montana. And they had clean streets and aqueducts and plumbing, and even indoor plumbing.
Yeah.
So none of that shit, and guess what? They were never in captivity in Rome. It's the same as the northern kingdom. I mean the southern kingdom was never in the Assyrian captivity. All right, so to try and say that they learned that in Rome is a complete fabrication. It's a law. Esau is very disingenuous with his information. I sent you a video.
On TikTok?
It's a YouTube video, but I sent it to both of you. I didn't know which phone you had. So.
And speaking of, you talked to Incas in Peru, they had the same thing as well. And Peru had from roads to aqueducts and they had plumbing and so forth over there in Peru. And so if you can't Esau Edom, they'll let them tell it that they're the father of all that. No, that was already known information. You can go back to Hezekiah, King Hezekiah, and he had the aqueducts and so forth that we were going back over to ancient Israel. So the narrative of Esau Edom is bullshit.
Yeah, when they conquered the Moors, what did they do? They outlawed the bathhouses. Those because all those castles, they had bathhouses. Jake started that, man. And those castles were so well built,
They still stand today.
They had
all throughout
heated
Florence.
floors. They had heated floors back over there in the so-called Dark Ages. They had heated. They piped it underneath the wood floors.
And guess what? Those same castles were all throughout Africa, all throughout Negro land anyway. They had them castles. As a matter of fact, when the Southern Kingdom was sold into slavery, they was sold out of what was it, Fort Benin? Anyway, that fort is a castle. It's built like a damn castle. That was, come on, man. These castles were all throughout Africa and North Africa. But you let Esau tell it, he'll just say that these people are living in huts.
Oh, there was Uganabuka in there.
Go ahead, brother.
This is Baruch chapter 3, verse 14. It says, learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding, that thou mayest know also where is length of days and life, where is the light of eyes and peace. Who hath found out her place, or who hath come into her treasures? Where are the princes of the heathen become, and such as ruled the beast upon the earth? they that had their pastime with the fowls of the air, and they that hoarded up silver and gold, wherein men trust, and made no end of their getting. For they that have wrought silver, and were so careful, and whose works were unsearchable, they are vanished and gone down to the grave, and others are come up in their steads. So I'm going to jump down to verse 35. It says, this is our power, and there shall none other be accounted of in comparison of him. He hath found out all the way of knowledge, and hath given it to Jacob his servant, and to Israel his
He
beloved.
says some of the way of knowledge.
He hath found out all the way of knowledge.
See, that's the reason why you go back into the inventors of every major technological advance. You talking about the motor. When you say the motor, you talk about planes, trains, and automobiles. You talk about the refrigerator. You talk about the oven. You talk about the washing machine. You talk about the cell phone. The filaments, the light bulb. Every major technological advance, the stoplight, is made by the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, man.
Word.
All right.
A Jake of all trades.
Right, and then
James of all trades, that's right.
Exactly,
That's
and then
right.
ultimately, the wisdom of righteousness, all right, the wisdom of immortality, because that's what Baruch is going into. He said, "Hey, where is wisdom? Where is strength? If you find out the source, then you're gonna find out the source of length of days, life, immortality." And it says, "Hey, where is these heathen? That did all this and did all that? Well, they dead." You know what I'm saying?
And proving what you even more so with what just backing off what Uriah said and what you said collectively, that this wisdom the Lord gave it to Israel and Israel gave it to the world.
Exactly.
Because they always marvel at how the dimensions and the measurements of the pyramids here in the Americas are the same dimensions of the ones over there, which also meant that they also had the knowledge of angles, geometry, trigonometry.
Exactly.
And all,
Because we were the
and
same
all
people?
that. And they were the same. They were of the same measurements, proving that they were the same people. All right,
Right.
Because, and that they actually came from the east, and not the east by way of the Bering Strait, but the east by way of the sea. All right.
And this wisdom, like the scripture says, we, the Israelites, we have this wisdom in earthen vessels right now. So we have what the scriptures call the earnest of the Spirit. You see? And so we're ultimately going to get the full download of the wisdom of righteousness for immortality. But right now, we have it in measure. You see? But yet and still, that wisdom is given to us, the Israelites.
Bible Shah got two for you.
Yeah.
This was with Solomon 24:1. Wisdom shall praise herself and shall glory in the midst of her people. I'm gonna jump down. So we're talking about wisdom, right? Verse 8. So the creator of all things gave me a commandment. He that made me caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thine inheritance in Israel. So this is wisdom, and this is every form of wisdom.
Right.
All right, that comes from the Most High, which goes into, hey, look, it goes into everything from fashion design to woodwork, gold work, and the proof of it is the law.
The law.
In the law, when the Lord gave the order to the priests, to Moses and Aaron, how the priest garments would be, how the temple would be built, or he gave specifications. He said, go get you these men upon whom the spirit of wisdom is on to do these things. So they had the wisdom for the needlework. It said to do the gold. And look, the Lord said the priest garments was for beauty and glory. It was meant to look raw.
Yeah.
That's a wisdom.
Yeah.
That's a wisdom, because it said he put wisdom to do this.
Yeah.
That's what Israel. Hey, look, architect, King Solomon, motherfuckers to this day, when you get a crib, the fancier your crib is, the more spiral your stairs are. Hey, look, that staircases in Kings. King Solomon built that building up, his house, the tabernacle, and he put spiral stairs in there, man. All right?
And
That's
this-
architect right
Yeah,
there.
and this is all just a measure of the wisdom that the Most High has given us. We ain't even got the full download yet. Ultimately, where it says, hey, you gonna reign forevermore. You're gonna rule for eternity with this wisdom right here.
That's right.
You see? Because all other nations, they rule just for a time. You see, we're gonna have the wisdom that you're gonna rule forevermore. And it says the government of approved man is well ordered, man.
Right.
And it's the upholding of the people, the welfare of the world.
Hey,
And
the
we're gonna be
scripture that
made
you read, Saint Benji, it reminded me of the X-Men Apocalypse. Because the Apocalypse, when he came on the scene, if you watch that movie, the powers that the mutants already had, he was able to turn it all the way up. That's how he was able to make Magneto when he had ripped all that stuff out the ground, out the earth. If you watch that movie, man. So you know that reminded me of that scene, man. You know.
This another point. If I go back to that Sirach, 2 Chronicles 26:15, and he made in Jerusalem engines invented by cunning men to be on the towers and upon the bulwarks, to shoot arrows and great stones withal, and his name spread far abroad, for he was marvelously helped, so he was strong. So it talks about engine. It's not talking about a car engine, but it's talking about a machine built to do what it just told you. And all the machines, a lot of machines and shit like that is just wheel and pulley systems.
Simple
All right,
machine.
it's all started from simple inventions like this. All right, you got two wheels connecting, two gears, rolling, a pulley, all that shit to do his work. That's right here in the scriptures, man. And this is Jameson Fawcett Brown Bible commentary on that verse. And it says he made engines invented by cunning men to shoot arrows and great stones. This is the first notice that occurs in history of the use of machines for throwing projectiles. So this
Catapult.
Yeah. It goes back to the word, they got catapulta, but then it said ballista. So you got ballistics and catapults.
Right.
Because catapults is for the rocks that it mentioned, then you got the ballista for the arrows.
Yeah.
Point is, Israel was the first to use machines to shoot shit at you, man.
Right, so the Romans got it from them.
Yeah.
The opening scene of the movie Gladiator, which is a great movie by the way. The Red Dragon, the Edomites, the Roman soldiers were using ballistas on the Germans. You know, they were shooting them gigantic arrows with fire on them.
And it's funny, I was going to pull the scripture up.
Pull that video back up, I want you.
Which,
The one that when you had your fumble. There you go.
this one right here?
Yeah, because we're gonna play about the 5th minute, like the 18th minute, and then like the 42nd minute. You know. But go ahead, bring what you have something. St. Benji, bring it out.
I made the point.
Oh, okay, kind of.
All right, well, I got scriptures, like I said, about what you were saying about Solomon and the whole deal and that wisdom. Going back to that First Kings as well, it was like 3 and 12. This is him saying, behold, I have done, this is the Lord speaking to Solomon, behold, I have done according to thy words. No, I have given thee a wise and an understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. So all that wisdom, like I said, Solomon understood all that, and then some. And like you said, it was passed on down to Israel as it is. And now, like I said, we the ones that invent, as they say, the salt of the earth. We the ones that invent all this stuff and whatnot. And what did the Edomite invent? The motherfucking patent office to steal the shit.
That's very, very good analogy, brother. Because I did a video responding to this earlier, and a brother put a comment on there because I talked about how GPS was discovered by a so-called Negro woman, all right, and then it turns out that the Earth to from the ground to surface to air missile system was created by a so-called black man. You put those things together, and you got a missile that can track your ass down.
Dang.
All right. So, and GPS is used every day. So the truth of the matter is that Esau will these red superiors, these Edomites, these red people that call themselves white, they constantly getting on videos and ranting saying that that the so-called Negroes, they gave nothing to society. They just a burden on society when their whole society is basically functioning because of the contributions made by your former slaves. All right, for just your simple comforts, air conditioning to heating, refrigeration and stoves, washing machines.
America being at the top of the world trade is because of slavery. Because you use the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and natives, all right, to pick what was popular trade back then, whether it was rice, sugar, tobacco,
Yep.
cotton. Then it switched to textiles. You got here in the game because you had us
Yeah.
working for free.
Exactly.
Then you open your factories, you got cheap labor from us.
And then you use the ingenuity and that creative blessing, because Jacob
Yeah.
is the salt of the earth, and then you when they created everything, you put your name on it. It's a very known fact. There's a video, a cartoon video, where the teacher keeps asking the little kids about the light bulb, and all the little white kids scream Edison, and then she corrects them and say no, it was a black man named Latimer. All right. So the point being is that Esau Edom is just a liar, man, and they're losing control over the narrative. And I did a lesson on that, and I found out today that the word narrative means a controlled falsehood, a story.
Damn.
Then I looked up the word story, all right, and it pretty much the same. Story is the fraud that's told about history. That's literally what about facts or about historical facts or the lack thereof. So they completely control the narrative. When you say, oh, well, this is the official narrative, they're telling you right there that this is a fabrication, this is a fraud, this is a lie. This is what we're saying what it is. It doesn't mean that that's what it is.
It's the agreed
funny
upon
because-
I
lie.
was like, God damn.
Well,
The
yeah.
agreed upon lie.
So they tell you, and then I looked up Forger, and guess what Forger led you to? Narrative
Doctor.
and story.
Yep, doctor.
Yeah, it's
It led you to the narrative and to the story. Also, they truly are the forgers of lies.
just like today. Everybody give Henry Ford praise. Oh, he came with the assembly line, and they he assembly line, and he was the first motherfucker to really get the car shit going at a good pace.
That's a
Which
lie.
was the Jake that made the assembly line, and one of the first car companies was also made by ex-slave man.
Yeah,
That's right.
and they destroyed that just like they destroyed all
Yeah.
the black
And
towns.
never talk about it.
And all the homesteads where so-called Negroes were flourishing amongst their enemies in their own land, and they got angry and destroyed. And so and look at this. The brother just put it on the screen, man. I mean, just the simple everyday things that were made in America, that made America great. America would not have been great without the presence of the so-called and these same people that were inventors. They also had their own neighborhoods, their own towns, etc., etc. And through racial hatred, anger, and jealousy, you went around burning them all down, and then you wrote those right out the history book, controlling the narrative,
That's right.
controlling the story, forging the lies.
To this day, they think the Wright brothers were the ones that started the flight. I'm sure
No,
that
they're the Wright-
if you go
they're
do
the
your
Wright brothers.
research, they go back to Brazil. It was some niggas in Brazil who started off with that, and then they'll say that even the blueprint before then was going back over to Europe, and some niggas that was over there in Europe off of Da Vinci and flight plans back then. So the narrative of Esau Edom is being exposed, man. Like you said, the deceit is being exposed. Just this right here alone, paper, chess, the alphabet, medicine, civilization, airplane propelling, biscuit cutter, folding bed, coin changer, rotary engine, car coupler, letterbox, stainless steel pads, torpedo discharger, disposable syringe, home security system, corn blender, cotton blender, ironing board, street sweeper, horse bridle maker, horseshoe, lawn mower, typewriter. You can't, the list goes on and on and on.
Look, that next column over there at the top, automatic gear shift. You wouldn't have cars shifting gears like this.
Jay
Your
Gregory, the
race,
motor.
they love the NASCAR.
Right.
Right.
When you got the motor, was invented by a nigga called Jay Gregory.
Right.
All right, he made the motor.
And then another nigga made it better by creating an automatic gear shift.
That's right.
There's no way around this, man.
Can I back you up real quick?
Absolutely, brother.
This is Exodus 1:9. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come and let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there fall out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us and set them up out of the land and get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. So it's the same thing, man. Now, man, A kingdom cannot be great without the Israelites there, man. And you know, we're talking about, you know, the things that Jake has created, which basically runs the entire country, you know, the whole planet and this country, but also it's Jake that's still maintaining it to this very day. You know, they had a movie called A Day Without a Mexican, man. Okay? All right? And in that movie, man, you see that, man, all these Edomites was panicking, man.
Yeah, the hospitality industry was completely shut down.
Yeah, the aliens took the Mexicans, man. The aliens came and took the Mexicans.
So you got two movies. You got one depicted the Negroes got taken, and now the Mexicans got taken.
Bless you.
All right, those are the chariots. The chariots are coming back for the Israelites, man.
Yeah.
So the hell what you talking about? Could you put that video up? We're gonna play a few minutes of it. Starting about the 5-minute mark.
So the Mexicans made some good
Then you're
inventions
gonna
too.
jump
Color
to like the
TV,
18-minute mark.
toilet.
Then you're gonna jump to the 43rd minute.
We in there too.
So you want to start at the beginning, right?
Start at the 5-minute mark, not the beginning.
Birth control. That's us Mexicans. Birth control, color TV, toilet, 1790. I'm just saying. America too, but we Mexicans was fucking holding down. You know what I'm saying? Amazing shit. The taco, the bread.
Doritos.
God knows.
We're very suspicious of what happened. In some cases, even questioning whether the certificates they had obtained were real. So, and then finally, you know, they could not have accomplished. These alleged hijackers just could not have accomplished most of what needs to be explained. On 9/11, for about 2 hours, our air defenses failed. And for 2 hours, our chain of command failed within the military. And as we know, from a previous guest that you had on, Ted Walter from our organization, the World Trade Center buildings were demolished. And these 19 young men were just not in a position to pull off all of these crimes. So, you know, that's really the problem. That the official accounts are false, and the accused men were not really capable, despite being not who they were portrayed to be, but just not really capable of accomplishing what was said to be accomplished that day.
Okay, Paul.
So what was said to be accomplished.
Oh, you can go right to the 18-minute mark. So basically, he just said it was all false. They couldn't have done it, and they were not the people that they were made out to be, because the media sensationalized the story, saying that they were, you know, drunks and hanging out with strippers and all, trying to paint them the pictures of just some bad guy playboys, whatever, not giving a fuck. And that's but then at the same time said that they were strong fundamentalists and basically the things that they were being accused of, Muslims don't do.
That's right.
All right, so maybe them Fruit of Islam cats do it. All
Yeah,
right,
they do.
but them true, you know, beard wearing, you know,
Turban.
wearing,
The
you
Sunnis
know,
and the Shiites.
they don't drink, they don't do the shit that these guys were doing, snorting coke and playing with hoes and all that.
Why don't
They
you
just
drink?
don't do it
Why don't you
collectively.
drink?
It's not a part. It's not part of their culture. They're against that. The way that they look at that as infidel Edomite behavior. All right, and so they're really against that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's haram. It's unclean.
All right, so there it is, man. So let's go. So you know, and he pointed all those facts out. You might want to watch this video, man. This is a very good, informative video. But go ahead and play.
Ashcraft wouldn't return any of his calls, and he's obviously, within Republican circles, a pretty well-known guy. He prosecuted Clinton. So anyway, there was clearly knowledge throughout the FBI that something was going to happen, and pretty precise details as well. So, but these young men, they were protected, and that was what we saw throughout the country with these other alleged hijackers. They were clearly
Protected by somebody. So you believe protected by the CIA, protected by the deep state, to carry out perhaps a large, massive false flag attack, arguably the largest false flag attack in world history. Is that really at the heart of all of this? This was a massive false flag operation using these men as sort of patsies, cover story for the United States to carry out these attacks?
That's what it looks like. Yeah, it definitely looks like that. These young men were the backstory, and Al Qaeda itself.
Yeah, because he like that. Psalm 64:8, Baba Kashab. And so the Lord put a spirit on him to do this. And the guy even asked him, "Are you worried about your life? Are you, you know?" And he's putting a book together called The Other 19, which he speaks about at the end. Is going into details of all the actual research that actually where the math actually matches up, where 1 + 1 is actually 2. And the whole thing, which is 9/11, because 9/11 is in the history books, and they're teaching this to children, and they're teaching them this controlled narrative fraud, all right, which the whole world can see, including a lot of Americans.
That's right.
And the average Edomite American, well, when you expose the truth to them, they're getting to that. It just doesn't matter.
Right.
It just doesn't matter. They get into that whole spirit, man, when they're exposed, all right, because they don't want to be seen as the bad guy. And the problem is the world is beginning to see that the so-called white man is the actual problem in the world. The whole world is beginning to see that and acknowledge that. You got it?
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 8. It says, "So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves.
Right.
All that see them shall flee away."
Yeah. So, it wasn't an Israelite that did this study and came up with all this research. All right? But go ahead and play some more, brother Bakasha. Any brother
Who is really responsible for the 9/11 attacks? Does the story that we've been sold stack up? Does it hold up when you put it under a microscope?
Training at these flight schools around the country, and their leadership, Louis Freeh and George Tenet specifically, and how these men had really facilitated and covered up terrorism in the years before 9/11. And the backstory was the alleged hijackers training at these flight schools around the country. The only evidence of them boarding one of the flights is a video from Dulles Airport related to Flight 77. There were no other closed-circuit TV videos available of the other hijackers.
Pause it.
But there is that.
This is a complete control narrative. They showed you footage that they wanted you to show. And then they didn't even show you everything. They showed you a clip and then they created a story behind it.
Right, and why is it that these passports survived all these fucking jet fuel?
Everything got turned to powder. So,
The
so
passport.
we know that we should make our body armor and everything else out of passport
The
paper.
passport, bro.
Clearly,
Fucking trick.
clearly passport paper's indestructible.
Yeah.
All right, I don't need a bulletproof vest. Just give me some passport paper.
Give me 2 passports as a fucking.
The same thing with the Pentagon too. The printer had the paper still in it, like right next to where it blew up at. The printer had paper right there, still just chilling.
Big ass plane supposed to hit it, and there was no impact for the wings. You had 2 big ass engines on the wings, but it was just that one hole in the middle. Yes.
Having so many holes in their story lets you know that Jake, Esau, the heathens that's over here in America are the most dumbest, stupidest, retardedest. That's why Esau even call you sheeple, because you all have no understanding. And then they push the narrative that the people rule. People rule. Y'all the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet, and y'all want to rule?
Yeah, so that should let you know. Well, then Americans are fucked up. If you're ruling, all right, because you keep putting people like Biden in office, so you believe. But go ahead and click to the 43rd minute.
I got a scripture.
Maybe you start at the 42nd. I don't want to miss it. Get your scripture before it starts.
Okay, this is Ecclesiastes 10 and 12. The words of a wise man are gracious, but the lips of a fool will swallow up himself.
Damn. That was a good scripture, brother.
In Psalms, there's one that says,
what was that, 12? Ecclesiastes?
Ecclesiastes 10 and 12.
God.
In Psalm, there's one that says, divide their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the land. So the Lord's dividing this dude's tongue.
Divide him.
I also have a blog called digwithin.net, at digwithin.net, and where I've got a lot of different articles related to 9/11 research, and of course the Journal of 9/11 Studies, which is also at the International Center for 9/11 Justice, where I've been the editor for 17 years. So we have a lot of peer-reviewed research that's going to be useful ultimately for any justice that we might be able to bring about regarding the 9/11 crimes.
Has anyone told you to back off this story?
Well, that's not exactly how things work from what I've seen. What happens is that anyone can be can call themselves a member of the 9/11 Truth Movement. And so infiltration of the 9/11 Truth Movement is the go-to method rather than threats and murder. And you probably know about COINTELPRO back in the 70s against the Black Rights Movement, peace movement. Those same things happened, in the peace actions related to Iraq and Afghanistan, and they were infiltrators that would come in, and they would say things and do things that would make everybody look a little bit crazy, and therefore deter attention away from the questioning. And I think
There
that's
it is.
really
Stop it right there. I don't know if you brothers are paying attention. That was heavy as fuck right there. Because in my opinion, that's IUIC and ISUPK. Clearly. All right. They have been used to distract away from the question, from the spiritual questions, the historical, biblical questions that we actually often answer. We often ask and talk about. And you got these groups, so you got the especially IUIC with their Hollywood quality videos, because Esau is behind them.
They were both on Vice because
exactly, and they get it right. And then we're the men of the Lord. There's no other camp like. Really?
500-man march, all that because IUIC got that publicity, and then ISUPK got the beating at the gun range publicity.
And so, and they fit. Matter of fact, take it back, because I don't think brothers want to lock in. Take it back to what he said, and really listen to what he just said right here.
God, Jake, man, my time
right there. That's good. That's good.
Anyone can be call themselves a member of the 9/11 Truth Movement.
Anyone can say they're a Hebrew Israelite. All right, let them go.
And so infiltration of the 9/11 Truth Movement is the go-to method rather than threats and murder.
Stop. So instead of shooting and killing us, they create these infiltration, these camps. They come with these crazy ass messages, and all of a sudden everybody's changing the doctrine and the breakdowns. Go.
You probably know about COINTELPRO back in the 70s against the Black Rights Movement, peace movement. Those same things happened, in the peace actions related to Iraq and Afghanistan, and they were infiltrators that would come in, and they would say things and do things that would make everybody look a little bit crazy, and then deter attention.
And then deter attention from the true message and what we're really about. Because you got ISUPK with their right, we're gonna shoot our way to the kingdom.
IUIC with the law,
and Jesus.
Right. Christ bless.
All right, and then at the same time, now they're starting to disassociate themselves from being Hebrews.
Hey, I'm throw this out there
too. Speak the name in your mouth.
The new shit was a
yeah,
I went in vocab.
And they got hats on all the time.
If it was vocab inbox, when I saw the video, and it was the inbox, I believe it was vocab and Sakari. Whoever it was, they talking about some debating Paul. He's saying Paul ain't valid. They saying Paul ain't valid. Yeah, but it's the way they said it now is like he just ain't valid.
You're right.
He
So we gotta throw Sakari in there too, man. And I've been saying that about Al-Azhar, man. So look,
Hey, I took the load for so long. I ain't taking the load
no.
And I promise you, man, the real men of the Lord, we stay down.
God knows, God. You gotta crouch down, God.
Hey, the Most High is about. The Most High is not done exposing the wicked. All right, your wicked ass groups. The Lord says the judgment must begin at the house of Israel, and the house of Israel starts with anybody who's claiming. What does it say?
So look, man,
the vain talkers,
the men that acknowledge that the apostles and elders of the great millstone,
Bacala.
all right, are the true leaders of all Israel on earth. Those are the men of the Lord, man.
Period.
And those other few groups out there that follow that, man. The men of valor, the sons of Yasharala out in Colorado, and a few other groups, man, that follow the teachings of you know, of the, you know, follow the tutelage of Apostle Elder Tahar and the apostles of the Great Millstones. All these other guys, they all on some other stuff. They all 501c3 chartered, you know,
suspect until further notice.
Exactly. The what do you call them? I call them. No, I call them the merchandise Israelites.
Yeah.
You got the T-shirt selling, the hat selling, starter kit, jacket wearing. I mean, jacket selling. You know, those guys, guys that do that, that focus on merchandising. They're not focusing on the message, and they're here to make money. Yeah, they're focusing on the sisters. Build. You gotta build.
And the sisters started.
You gotta learn how to be a proper wife, right? Or a proper. Well, at least ISUPK acknowledge you can have multiple wives.
Right out.
So that's scriptural. IUIC is went straight, you know, Christianity. And you know.
Well, I'm thinking about this. What's that one nigga? What's his second man? Shakari's second hand man.
Deacon. That
nigga, man.
ASAP.
That nigga always got that hat come with some black love, man. Where's black love in the Bible?
Oh, they had a sit down. I seen they had a fucking podcast style sit down on that. Look, them niggas are through, bro.
Man,
all the people against you, how about Shimmy Yahushai, and the correct doctrine is going to be exposed, man.
And they're gonna fail same way, you know, tribe would fail, you know.
Right.
Tribe would fail, you know, the same thing that happened to them. Eventually, that's going to happen to Sakari, and it's going to happen to IUIC. They're going to start infighting over money and all that stuff, you know. And the Lord's going to break all that up, man. And you're going to see who the true men of the Lord are.
I found the clip I was talking about. So it's Vocab speaking. I don't know who the conversation.
Put it in.
I don't know who the it's on my phone.
Oh, God.
It's a minute clip. I don't think I upload a minute to your group.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
A minute goes, or was it 30 seconds?
No, I think 59 seconds.
59 seconds?
59.
All right, let me see.
Yeah, a minute.
A minute ago? I'm
Yeah.
gonna find out right now.
You got a scripture while you're doing it?
Yep.
Bring it out, brother.
Revelation 2:2. I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil, and thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and hast found them liars.
Hey, what says, then shall you return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua and him that serveth them not.
That's right.
But the Lord has to give you eyesight to that because, hey, those of you that are following, I call that nigga Henry Kane. I don't know if anybody ever seen the movie Poltergeist, man. You had this nigga named Henry Kane who just led all these people. He was a pastor.
Oh, that's part 2.
Yeah, he led all those, Poltergeist 2. He led all those people into that hole and shit, then closed the fucking hole.
Yeah.
They all died in that bitch. Well, that's where the Lord wanted you at, man. He wanted you right. It should have says the blind lead the blind.
They're gonna fall into the ditch.
Folks that fall into the ditch, man.
I got go ahead, Matas.
This is Acts 5 and
That's the council or not? This council, if it's a man, that's go ahead.
This Acts
Go
5.
ahead. That's the spirit.
I'm gonna start at 36. So before these days rose up, that is, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 100, joined themselves, who were slain, and all as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to Egypt.
Right. That was them. That's right, niggas.
That's right. Niggas fall off a cliff saying, hey, each one of them fall off a cliff. They say, that's right. That's right. They fall off and smash the rocks and shit.
That wild ass 90s sound. That's
All falling off a cliff, man.
Yeah, it's gonna get judged, man. It's coming, man.
Because, you know, Rala told me that your man Chase Blunts is dreaded up, just completely, totally gone, man. And Nazariah erased all his YouTube shit. Everything he had on YouTube is gone. He just ran back into the world, man. All right, because he and that dude Nazariah wanted to be Sakari, man. He wanted to be him so bad.
Man, he wanted to be
All right?
more than him, yeah.
He talked shit about him, but all the time he was secretly envying him, wanting to be like him. Yeah.
Yep, Verse 37. After this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the Texan and drew as away much people after him. He also perished. And all, even as many as obeyed him, were
He also died.
That nigga died too.
And they all because you cannot.
Go ahead and read the next verse, brother.
Verse 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For this counsel, if this work be a man, it will come to naught.
There it is, man. So just like, tried and failed, it did exactly that. The same thing is going to happen to IUIC and ISUPK.
That's right.
All right, the Lord, and them men have been so wicked, man. The Lord is probably going to make public examples out of them.
Probably.
That's the same thing he did out of IJG, JC, whatever, Comfy and them.
Yeah,
the Lord made a spectacle out of them.
April
He made
Fools.
a spectacle. Matter of fact, the Lord has been making a spectacle out of these false ass camps already. The whole fighting between ISUPK and IUIC, the whole in WWF battle royal.
Bomb. He had to do the move, bro. It ain't the power.
Somebody had to use it in real life, man.
So it was the Legion of Doom camp versus the Power Rangers camp.
I mean, what the?
I can't wait to roll. I'm hitting one of you niggas with that shallow wall.
Hey, this is some saying Corey David and Avi Graham niggas, man. Who said they got destroyed in front of witnesses. Corey David and Avi Graham. It says, and they had the ground opened up and ate their ass. Man.
It said it happened like never before.
Yeah.
He let it be known that you niggas was so stupid and wicked. It happened. This death never happened to you.
Right. So in the book of
The Lord really real for this shit. To write it like that is real. Every time I read it, I think about that. Like, this shit really embarrassing, man.
And meanwhile, I was watching a video this day of the Israelite foreigners in the Philippines, and they did a whole video where they were teaching on the name of Yahweh Shai, and the name Jesus is a false name. And they even put in there that they literally did the breakdown where they showed it was earth pig. So you got Israelite foreigners teaching a more solid doctrine than IUIC.
That's right, brother.
All right?
This is 2 Timothy 3 and 8. Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith, but they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men.
It shall what?
Shall be manifest unto all men.
It's going to be told to everybody. It's going to be made public.
Yep, as theirs also was. Yeah, they're going to put the public shame.
That's right.
And ultimately, when you look up Jannes and Jambres, it talks about potentially being some magicians that went against Moses. And the ultimate way that they put the shame was they shit failed. See, y'all talking about the mark of the beast is white women, all this.
Yeah, ISUPK cut that shit
all
out.
this other weird shit y'all saying. Y'all followers and the world that see y'all is gonna realize y'all are full of shit. Once this chip is put into place, and
when they hungry and can't buy
fucked,
shit,
they don't know no better. Now they gonna take the chip because you didn't warn them.
Right.
Then they gonna have to get put to death because
and then a lot of them are gonna get sick. But was it Revelation 16? The Lord. So a lot of people are gonna take that mark, that charagma, and then they're gonna get sick and die as a result of it.
20 people already died in IUIC. 20 people after that jab came out. After that jab came out, 20 people in the IUIC already fucking died.
Find out that's what you saying. That give me a source.
That blood don't do hands. I got two quick.
Put that in the. Put that in the.
Well, we know they was taking it because.
Yeah, I'm sure they were taking it. But when you say something like that, you got to come with where it came from.
Oh, God, I ain't talking that.
I'm just telling the brother.
Saying that Apostle Hart went into it.
He lost faith.
In New York works just like my UIC.
Yeah, I remember seeing that video.
He said he lost faith.
He said he lost faith as soon as he took it.
They not built up. As soon as he took it.
He said he took y'all. He said he felt the Lord wasn't with him no more, man.
Hey, I want to bring this out just to back down, just to back up what the elder brother Benji brought out about being publicly destroyed and being publicly made an example. This is Sirach 1 in verse 29. It says, "Be not a hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest." It said, "Exalt not thyself," because this is what Alazar and General Yohanan and all those other clowns do. It says, "Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall and bring dishonor upon thy soul, and so Yahweh discover thy secrets and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation." So you're going to be made a public example. It says, "Because thou camest not in truth, to the fear of Yahweh, but thy heart was full of deceit. So the Lord know you niggas ain't shit. This is Job 32 and verse 21. That's why as soon as a dude gets to talking about here, elder and this bishop, priest, I just cut the nigga off. This is Job 32 and 21. Let me not, I pray thee, accept any man's person, because that's what they're into. It says, neither let me give flattering titles unto man, for I know not to give flattering titles, and doing so my maker will soon take me away.
Yes,
so I don't look at them niggas like nothing but fucking niggas, man.
Right.
That's it. You just a nigga who wanted to make a name for yourself, and you gonna get your ass smashed by an elephant.
Hey, shit, I'm glad you used that analogy.
Because I know they don't know it.
And right, because it's the second Maccabees on the motherfuckers who tried to go make themselves a name.
Eleazar.
All right, and Eleazar, you know what I'm saying, which was
It went out like a G.
Hey, like somebody say that shit was, you know, I looked it raw.
You know, hey, it was raw.
That
Shit look
raw.
raw.
It's flat.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
That shit did.
He was cold as hell for a minute.
He said it was slaying on the right, and slaying on the left. That nigga was doing karate.
He had the Bruce Leroy glow for
Oh,
a
I
moment.
promise you, bro.
He had that glow.
He definitely went Super Saiyan.
This one moment.
I got that revelation.
Go ahead, brother.
This is that Revelation 16. It started 2 that you were saying about the thing. And the first went, okay, this is the vial. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sword upon the men that had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image.
Pops, can I say this? With the chips that have been put in the animals, most of those animals that have that chip will develop a fucking cancerous sore. So this is that chip that Nate and them were laughing about that is gonna buy you lamb. That the pets that actually have that fucking implant. So this is how much you gotta love Esau.
Yeah.
You gotta love Esau enough to trust him, then enough for fucking love your beast and not put him through cancer, man. Because with that grievous sword is gonna come upon them that take that mark.
Oh, yeah,
but the indicator is that the animals that have taken this fucking chip
Yeah.
already fucking getting
They
that
said,
shit.
You know, because Esau was tagging up these animals since the 80s, if I'm not mistaken, like the late 70s, early 80s. Follow them in the wild. A lot of those animals died of cancerous issues and shit.
I could go get my, see now I have 2 cats that got chipped. All right, before I bought them, they were already chipped. They get periodically sores on their back from the chip.
Shit.
And when I'm up there rubbing them, when I rub them and you'll feel them under their skin. You'll see the bumps along the ridge of their back. And to this day, they'll come, they'll go. But that's because Esau comes and goes with his frequencies. They're going to die. Those cats, they're going to, because they have chips in them, and those the frequencies out here affect those animals, man. And they're already, this is not even, the new whatever,
Right.
whatever the bam they got right now with the microchip with the RFID chip, but the chips that they already got, they have nothing but they got sores on their back right now.
Right.
And then I can go grab the cat right now. We can go show you right now. And so that's you motherfuckers who take that damn chip. You are going to be killed by Yahweh Shai, and you're going to have sores. The Lord said, excuse me. Someone who grabbed the scripture. Say that says you're gonna get grievous sores.
He just read it.
That's the truth.
Read it again.
Okay.
Damn, they want to go grab one of the cats.
Man, the Lord bless them cats, man. Over there,
And the Lord won't bless them. They gonna
Revelation
die.
With a single
Revelation
death.
16, 2.
See?
And the first vial, and the first went
Yeah,
and
forgave
poured
me.
out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome, grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image.
Read it again one more time, brother.
They gonna be through.
And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image.
Now I don't know if anybody's seen the the different pundits speaking on
I don't know, October 4th or something. It's supposed to be a signal being sent to all the phones. But see, but that's part of how they do this shit. They'll send a signal out and hit all the fucking phones, whatever. But Esau, Edom, they deal with the 5G, 6G, whatever, and they're playing that realm. All right.
To see what kind of reactions they get.
Yeah, they just had a movie come out, what was it, a year, maybe 2 ago, called Salient. And they show you what they was planning to do. They sent a signal to all those people that it started at the airport, right?
It was raw.
Yeah.
What is it called? I think I remember that movie.
Yeah, it's called Cell. Not the one with J-Lo.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, that phone signal went out and people started dropping and stuff like that.
Foaming and shit, the mob and all that, man.
It's the same thing with the Kingsman, the one with Samuel.
Yeah.
With they're gonna send a signal and ping whatever the fuck.
Well, we did sit down on that and this, that, another where we were showing how certain magnets and things like that was having the shit that was in the stand up and all this other kind of shit.
But you know, with that signal thing, because I saw a couple of different videos on it. The guy said if it doesn't happen on the 4th, they got a backup date on the 10th. I believe that they're gonna do that, but I think they're gonna do it without warning. They're gonna catch when they do it. They're gonna catch everybody completely off guard. You know, so that and because that message went out over every social media platform.
Yeah, sure.
Once again, when I said they're gonna have to get rid of social media because that's how people are doing stuff. Right now, they're keeping it in order because Esau's using it to his advantage, especially for all the playing chaos. You know, like all these smash and grabs and all that stuff. All right, that's all orchestrated COINTELPRO. You know, whatever.
Yeah, that nigga always tells before he does something. You know.
Yeah, so I believe that they're gonna do that, but I don't think they're gonna do it on those dates. I'll be shocked if they do it on the dates that they said they're gonna do. Yeah. Because a lot of people probably are really gonna turn their phones off for an hour or two.
Yeah, it's a pump fake.
Yep. And so it's a straight pump fake. And a lot of people gonna get their ankles broken. Because they gonna jump, the dude gonna run around and do a layup.
Turn your phone off when you do nothing.
Yeah.
It's too much Wi-Fi. There's Wi-Fi everywhere. You can be outside, just regular outside by nobody's house. Check your shit. You got Xfinity Wi-Fi.
Everywhere.
Chicago was always supposed to, a long time, years ago, this was like 15 years ago maybe, Chicago was supposed to be set up where you can get Wi-Fi anywhere, but there's no profit in that. But if you get an Xfinity, you can get Wi-Fi anywhere basically.
Yeah, well,
there it is.
And Xfinity got 5G internet.
So ain't no running, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, man. But look, either the Lord is with you or He's not, man. That's what it comes down to.
Do you remember that video?
That clip still? The Deacon vocab.
Oh yeah, we played it. Yeah, let's play it.
This right here. Yeah, that right there.
Akab Sakari thinks he stands in judgment over Paul. Look at these messages back and forth. Is Paul valid? Does he have authority over the 12? Should we use his teachings today? Prove his writings are God-breathed and prove they are relevant to today's time. Prove his authority. He wants to debate is Paul on trial. Look at that. His general teachings, his views of the church and doctrine.
He wants his long hair so bad.
Debate, I think certain topics you guys have stalemate because Paul seems to contradict himself. He says he has a list of 82 times Paul's irreconcilable.
I got 82 verses. We just went over this in Sakari Varsity. I got 82 verses for a Hebrew Israelite, specifically for a Hebrew Israelite. I got 82 verses. Isn't he one? That we can go through, and I would like from Paul, and I would like you to explain all of them. I got 82 shots.
Hey, that's a fucking demonic ass, demon ass
if somebody
shit,
get
man.
with me,
that's the reason why the Most High gonna destroy your motherfucking ass.
That's that jail doctrine.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna take him up on that challenge, man. We're gonna find out, what these 82 verses are. If he got them, and then and do a lesson on them. Them dudes is exactly.
Took a bag, man.
Yeah, of course they did. That's the point why he playing it, because Alazar wants to keep his long hair. They want to wear the hats and the fitted hats. They want to do. They want to be in the right. They want to build and stay on this side, man.
When they on the podcast, Rich, like somebody famous shit.
I wouldn't be shocked. They kicking it and they hanging out with the celebrities and shit. That's the same thing that Chase Blunt was doing.
Hey, Paul writings a part of coming back into your house shot, being good grace, giving grace from your house through your house shot.
Yeah, he's
I
an
mean,
apostle
just
to the Gentiles.
oxymoron, man. Can I bring this out, please?
All right,
This
you
is,
brothers got 2 scriptures. Go ahead, bro.
This is 1 Corinthians 14:37 by Paul. If any man think himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things I write unto you are the commandments of the Lord. That's
Perfect.
plain, man.
It was on No Jumper.
It was no jumper.
Yeah.
Oh, with the cuck.
Yeah.
Ain't that the cuck page?
Yeah.
Didn't you just play Jason Love to fuck your girlfriend? Shut up, monkey.
Yeah, he was on that with one of his.
Yeah, bring out your.
No jump.
Was that to do with Adam?
Yeah, that's his show. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
That's
on the channel.
Adam's show.
He got interviews. Yeah.
This is Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 4. O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the deserts. Ye have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord Yahweh. Right? Because these other camps are not preparing Jake for what's really to come. Instead, they're actually destroying, trying to anyway, the true narrative, like with that type of madness. So that people don't actually, so that the women aren't in order. They got every excuse for a woman not to wear a head wrap, and everything that Paul is saying is off. But according to the scriptures, you're off from the Old Testament and the New.
Right. The women's walk around unwrapped, and they walk around with hats on.
With hair on.
There it is.
And this nigga Alazar got hair down to the middle of his damn back.
Yeah.
It's okay when he gets snatched one by them troopers and beating his face and choked out. And he couldn't get away because his hair was down the middle of his back.
He gonna do his dance like Nino Brown did that Italian nigga. That's it.
Eat some collard greens, eat linguine, motherfucker. Don't give me one of them collard green linguines.
Go ahead, bring it out, bro. You got some more? Somebody hold. We gonna close after this. Get the 2nd Ezra 16:73.
Skip it down to verse 8. It says, therefore thus saith the Lord God, because ye have spoken vanity and seen lies, therefore behold, I am against you, saith the Lord God. And mine hand shall be upon the prophets that see vanity and divine lies. They shall not be in the assembly of my people, neither shall they be written in the writing of the house of Israel. Neither shall they enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh.
Damn. So they're not gonna enter into the land of Israel.
Yeah,
So these guys and on those 3 camps that we talking about, man, they gonna mess around and be nutsack Israelites.
There it is.
All right, that's exactly what they're gonna. They're gonna mess around and be nutsack Israelites. You're gonna have to come back through sex, and that's just what it is, man.
After all the
The
pain,
elect
that's
gonna
what
skeet your monkey ass out.
Spermalites.
Who got it?
2nd Ezra 16:73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire.
Nobody's being tried like the men of the great millstone.
That's right.
And nobody's doing the work. Unlike Mr. General Nathaniel, Ben, all right, Edomite way, Mr. Ben Israel.
Ben,
all right.
Ben Yisrael.
Unlike he says, no, the true men of the Lord are the men of the great millstone and the brothers that teach the likewise doctrine, man. They go out on the highways and byways. You got thousands of men. You got 500-man marches. Where these men videos? Your men are not built up. You only have certain people that you allow to speak and they can speak. All right, and then there was a video surfacing that just surfaced. Kazak was on his way to work and rode up on some of the IUIC, and they started screaming and calling him a rapist. After your leaders have already admitted that they lied about that and apologized for it, but your men are still, so it's
like, why would you even do that though?
Like, what's the purpose in that?
So
it's exactly what they are, some bitch ass false prophets, man. Hey, so with that, we're gonna give all praises, all glory and honor unto you.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakam B'dash.
Wa Ba Ba Ba.
Abba Ba.